Hello and welcome, Rangers. I'm Joe, and Dan's way off screen. Partially off screen. So we're going to be watching Lost Galaxy as people requested that for some reason. They want to watch us watch it. This is weird. And that means I'm going to be in charge of, I guess, keeping an eye on the chat every once in a while. Normally it's you in this chair, and the dog kicks you off the rocker, and I have to sit at the foot of the rocker.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, these days, I don't think even you just watch the show. We just kind of take notes and note things down as we go because, well, we have to do that for the channel. So let's see. Let's watch this in slightly higher quality. Normally, I don't go very high because I prefer to listen than to watch most stuff on YouTube while I'm doing other things. Usually, we're taking notes or writing and whatnot. So here we go. Oh yeah, that's
sometime in the not too distant future, the Earth begins a search for
in the not so distant future, which is now the past. God,
I like the narrator so far.
Yeah, Monsignor. I think this would have been a better future.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense. J'adore la France. I love Japon. But I think I'd rather just escape Earth these days than stay on it. In some ways, because like if going out into the universe meant the Lost Galaxies universe with the Lost Galaxy Rangers, would you go on this quest with them? I'd probably do it because who wants us? I'm just saying the Earth has enough problems.
Yeah.
you were.
Although you'd give up your chances to meet Tommy.
Austin McNeil says, "Hey there, my Ranger friends. How you been doing, dude?"
We've been well, it's been a little stressful. I have to go on a quick trip out of town, and so we got to schedule up a Power Ranger video for next week. But yeah, how about you, Dan? How have you been?
I've been good at it.
Yeah. So, oh wow, 3 people already jumped on. So here we go. Let's continue. Hope people can hear it. I hope this stream doesn't get struck.
Yeah, and just a note, we do not own Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Just
We don't own Squad. I'm just saying, we don't own Squad.
Yeah.
Actually,
But
soon we may not even own this TV.
Just wanted to let that disclaimer out of the way.
Yeah. I think all we own is our YouTube channels, and even then, technically YouTube.
3,000 years ago, these 5 Quasar sabers were placed here. Here they shall remain until those of you who prove yourselves worthy release them
So,
and harness their mighty
3,000
power,
years ago.
transforming them into mighty champions,
But
guaranteeing peace.
so this is 3,000 years after Ivan, and about 7,000 years after Rita was sealed away in a trash can where she belongs. So this, ironically, when the Quasar swords were stuck in the stones, that's closer to our time than it is, to an extent, Ivan Ooze or Rita.
That's
Done the
an
drop.
interesting note.
Triumph
Yeah.
for good. Begin.
They ain't gonna succeed. Imagine if they did. Of course, putties are coming along.
Choose the pink one.
No, he couldn't succeed with the pink one because he's a guy. He's like Well,
know.
if there was a black one, you wouldn't be able to see with a girl. I'm just saying.
All right. Austin McNeil, Leo and Kendricks have always been my favorite ship besides Leo and Carone. What about you guys? We generally don't really think of
The ship. I stick with what's official, but a few times you've commented that well, I think even when you were a teen, you kind of shipped them, but like Kendricks is hot, and I find her a very lovable character. She's like, well, you've compared her to Jean Grey, which is a good comparison. I think that I think folks that I don't know if I could see Leo with her though.
yeah.
But those who ship them, I actually kind of get where they're coming from. So
Yeah. And Rob Kiersey says, lol, where she belongs. Was Zordon behind those swords? Yeah, Rita does belong in the trash. Was Zordon behind those swords?
I love that idea, and I think he was, but that's just my. We don't have any proof of it. And it's my fan theory that Zordon set it up. I always kind of hoped that. Well, from what I understand, I think the Guardian that we see later in this season is one of them that stuck those swords in those stones. And I always suspected that maybe he was working for Zordon at the time, and he was a previous ranger. So Kai's been selected to succeed the Guardian, I think is his name. And Zordon was kind of behind the Guardian, with maybe the Guardian being a potential successor for Zordon, should Zordon perish. That's my fan theory on the nature of the Guardian, and on Kai's relationship to him, and on the Quasar swords vis-a-vis the Guardian. So I do think Zordon had something to do with it. And it might be just me really loving the Lost Galaxy Rangers, but I tend to think that they also have a connection to the Ninjeti of Phaedos to an extent, and that this might be why the Guardian was able to be immortal, and that thus we have Phaedos connected to this planet and the Lost Galaxy. And that's my fan theory. And when we were doing the Power Rangers RP a while back with us and some friends, and I was made to GM, I went in with this logic, and it was a pretty interesting campaign. We might have to turn it into a video series for people.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Valerie Vernon didn't get to finish the series. Yeah.
But she's the actress of Kendrick?
Yeah.
Oh, but her story is so inspiring. I want to do a video on it at some point or interview her. She is so darn inspiring. She overcame leukemia. The woman is a real live superhero in some ways. It's a miracle she survived. I just find her just. I find her story moving. But it would have been awesome for Carone to team up with Andros.
Okay. Yeah. If
that would have been better, I actually think that. Okay, maybe Carone should have been. Maybe there should have been another season with that team, and maybe she should have been a ranger on that team instead, and we maybe get Cassie on Lost Galaxy,
because Carone being cured and healed from evil, and that being the driving force behind Andros, they needed. Eventually, it would have been the natural progression for the two to work together. But I also think that I don't like the idea of her just insta-cured. I would have preferred a whole arc and towards redemption. So that I'm going to be honest, I kind of prefer her staying evil. And I would have liked it better had someone like TJ had to strike her down or something. I kind of think that she should have actually killed Andros at the end of In Space. And I know that that's a controversial opinion, but my opinion is keep her evil, but she strikes down Andros. And thus you have set up for a Cain and Abel story, and where
I don't know. I've got, but I understand people liked her in this season and whatnot. I've got mixed feelings about it, but like I would, if you redeem her, I just think have a whole season with her where you see her atoning for what she's done and growing and just like have her team up with her brother. She has to do that. So like I don't think don't have her redeemed like as a finality thing, or I just think if you redeem her, do it right. If you're not going to, don't do it. It wouldn't be hard for them to transfer powers. Just get Tommy and that sword from the power transfer. Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair. The Sword of Light, it was called.
Yeah.
The Sword of Light is incapable of killing, but can only transfer powers. It would have been very easy to transfer energy from that's indirectly connected in some way to the secret power of Phaedos. And if you can get a portion of the power, I don't think it would have been the kind of power that you see in the movie. I think it was just a sliver. Where that was the whole rock, Lost Galaxies would have been a sliver. And where the power would have been transferred to the swords. And you got to bear in mind, there's a lot of Arthuriana here, visually, and with the Quasar sword. So the idea is only the most worthy of knights or king may pull the sword of Excalibur. So, and you have, so Zordon, I think the idea is in universe, this is the inspiration for the Sword in the Stone. In universe. Oh no, it's a clown! I'm kidding. Well, we know he has more fun than everyone else. He's blonde.
Lucy, are those mommy's heels?
Oh.
The Quasar Sabers will be mine!
Don't pop a blood vessel. Yeah. I love this theme song. This might be the best theme song. This and Lightspeed Rescue are the best. One of the best Red Rangers.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the most lovable Pink Rangers. And I'll have to say, Kai is probably one of the best Blue Rangers. Just checking the chat. Oh, right, you've got that in hand.
The engine test will occur at 0800.
Outstanding. Keep those shuttles running on
Yeah,
schedule. Add
it
more
was.
flights if necessary.
Well, I like this commander. I prefer
People.
Mitchell.
TerraVenture leaves orbit to find a new world in 8 hours. Keep up the good work.
The reactors are charged at 98.8% and rising.
Sporty, how's it going?
TerraVenture.
These are the last of the experimental hybrids, and we're running ahead of schedule by 20 minutes.
Only 20 minutes.
Running a little behind today, aren't you?
Excellent. Are all system checks up to date? Yes, sir. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It is.
Take a good long look. Odds are you'll never see her again.
He obviously misses Leo.
Yeah.
There's been some mistake. Of course it's real. I am one of the most acclaimed astronomers of all time.
Hey, I feel like we're forgetting something. Are we forgetting something?
Not that I remember.
Skull. They really should have had a few more folks.
And don't come back until you do have a passport.
All right. Right. Cool off.
I think the only Red Ranger starts off the series, possibly a criminal. He breaks several laws. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Just a complete criminal.
Oh. Yeah, Rob Kiersey. Oh well, Skull probably got a job running the juice bar.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Because we got to bear in mind, by the time of Forever Red, I think they own.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. Yeah, they own it, and I think Tommy just hangs out with them, and they really like to help them out. Because they know the Power Ranger secret identities by then.
Yeah. So Bulk returns to Earth.
Yeah.
Passport.
Quite why. I'm just saying, Terra Venture seems like a better place to live.
Get away! As soon as you hand over that passport, it's all we need. Can't possibly be talking to us.
You see anybody else here? You know what's good for you. Leave the lady alone.
Just
Yeah.
walk away, buddy.
The idea of this scene is supposed to be a Bill Fang type scene where he stands up for. I don't know.
It's okay. You want this?
That's the idea, Einstein.
Here you go.
He tricked him. He slipped it away.
Take the envelope.
Yeah, buddy.
Better hurry. The last one's about to leave.
Aren't you going?
No, I wasn't selected.
Oh, what a shame. If anyone deserves to go, you do. The new world needs young men like you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. The new world needs young men like you.
So he's not going to give up. He's still going to try to find a way to steal his way on board. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I can't believe it. Only 6 more hours.
Well, we aren't over yet. One more train exercise. See you on the moon.
Okay.
We scan each piece of luggage for any contaminants before loading, so everything should be ready to go. So barring any unforeseen problems, just about finished.
He's actually thinking a bit like Qui-Gon Jinn will do. Sneak in for the kitchen or something. Money through the storage part. Where they load things onto the ship and whatnot. That's something that was common in the Jedi Atlantis novels by Jim Watson, where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn always snuck into that. Through baggage or the kitchens.
Yeah. And
Attention, we've got a stowaway. Male, dark-haired Caucasian teenager wearing a red shirt.
so here we see that, Leo's meant to be the team.
I'd say probably a younger guy. I'm pretty sure it's about 20.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like 19. Maybe he is a teen, but I'd say like between 17 and 19. But he's a punk.
Yeah.
Basically. He's a young punk. He's what Genkai would call dude. Oh, come on, Mike. Don't put that song on. Sure. Hidden below. This is such a Star Wars Episode 4 reference.
Yeah.
You're directly referencing Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. I'm actually going to say I think Leo's a little too clever for his own.
Yeah.
He has a tendency of outsmarting himself.
Mind if I take a look?
She's weirded out by him because she doesn't know. Yeah. He outsmarted himself.
Yeah.
It's not that. Well, he's clever, but not intelligent. What I mean is, he can be stupid.
I got a funny feeling
Exactly.
we are forgetting
He's
something.
clever, but he's like Odysseus.
Toothpaste.
Very clever, just outsmarts himself. Lands himself perpetually.
Alien jet.
And they're crying in the background.
Oh boy.
But I like that Bulk actually does cry for Skull because the two come as a pair. And it does show that he does love Skull. I think Skull is purely the reason he chose to go back to Earth. Because the two are basically siblings in such a way that you can't separate them from one another. Oh, come on, Leo.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Here.
You ought to be more careful. Let me help you. Still have to sell more. Did you see a guy come through here? About this tall with a red shirt?
What did you do?
He's a stowaway.
Oh, no. I don't think so.
Thank you.
I love how Kai's like, what? But, you know, we have a job.
It's like
We have
here
an
it is.
obligation.
This strange guy just baby blues at her.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that Kai is not, like, they flip the roles a little. Usually the Pink Ranger is not the nerd in a way, but she is. And you have Kai is someone who sticks by the rules. He is very smart, like book smart, but he's also very practical and pragmatic in his knowledge. I'm actually going to say in some ways, I think he is the smartest of this team.
Mm-hmm. And I can't help but consider when we're talking about a Blue Ranger, comparing him to Billy.
Well, he's a
Yeah.
total opposite of Billy.
He's a total opposite of Billy, but because of the approach he takes, which is very logical, rational.
Oh, yeah. In that regard, he is a lot like Billy. Yeah. He's probably the number 2 Ranger, best Ranger in this team. Though, I still think Mike should have been a Ranger.
Agreed.
But Mike would have surpassed him and been the only one on par with Leo.
Yes, definitely.
But as it is, Kai comes pretty close. And Kai is a great character. I think he's destined to be like Zordon, a great mentor of the future Power Rangers.
And as we see the outsmarting,
You're going the wrong way, young man. Come on, we're on a tight schedule.
He did outsmart himself.
Whoa! Where are we going?
Moon. Training exercise.
To the moon? I just got here.
Sometimes he's not very smart, is he?
no. I mean, can you see Han Solo getting caught up like this?
Actually, yes. Han, half the time in the expanded universe, all he did was screw
These
himself
are
up
the
and
last
outsmart
defense
himself and put
exercises
himself in
we'll
deeper
have
in the hole.
before Terra Ventrali.
Reading the episode 4 novel is great because you get a good sense that Han's a bit of a disaster. And Jabba, like the whole mess of Jabba was Han outsmarting himself, both in regards to Jabba and the Empire, having all but cornered himself between them, and then trying to outsmart his way through. And Jabba tries to tell him, like, you keep doing this sort of nonsense. I like you, kid, but I'm going to have to make an example of you. And Han keeps doing that. So, yeah. But that's it. I'm very fond of Leo. He's one of my favorite Red Rangers.
All your senses need to be
And
on
he's your
full
favorite,
battle
I
alert.
believe.
No mistake.
Yes.
Delta team,
I
you
kind
will
of
be
like
first,
Rocky
followed by Gamma.
and TJ a little more.
This is a full battle ready exercise, including explosives. Watch for your enemy.
Of course,
Stay
Leo
calm
had to
and
think of
remember,
little Leo.
Never,
Yeah.
ever leave a team member behind. Yes, sir.
Where I don't get it is there's no oxygen in them. So, are they in the
Gentlemen, ready to
Dark
fall.
Realm?
Yes, sir.
Like the version of the moon where
Very good.
Lord Zed and Rita and fly. Because we're going to bear in mind, they're in a separate dimension on the moon. I know it sounds complicated, but it's like there's two moons. They're just in. It's like the Speed Force. They're vibrating at different frequencies within the universe. I wonder if it's kind of like that, and if they're in that frequency of the universe, like that version of the moon, there's oxygen and gravity.
That is actually an interesting line of thought.
Because it's called the dark dimension, but we don't know how big the dark dimension is. Is it a small room, or does it encompass an entire moon, like a satellite of the Earth? And we also have to bear in mind there's also the large city Zed rules over, because we often see a city surrounding his fortress. And on top of that, Zed in the DC Power Rangers crossover is compared to Darkseid. There on the moon, he is God.
Yes, and we're well aware of in
Or he
Forever.
is God.
We're well aware in Forever Red that Andross was spying on them, and Andross does require oxygen himself.
Yeah.
So,
But just noticing. Rob Kiersey's made some interesting comments. It wouldn't be hard. Whoops. It was an epic theme. Yeah. Oh, well. Skull probably got a job running the Juice Bar. Oh, yeah. He did say that. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's an epic theme song. Paintball exercise.
well, first every time.
Clearly, you've never met the Zap Council. You haven't seen a bridge. That series was hilarious. And so is Gundam Seed Destiny Abridged. Shin accidentally kills Luna and decides to bury her body.
Honestly, some of the later Gundams, the abridged versions were better.
Yeah, I know.
Stay here. Everybody else, go.
Yeah, slow-mo.
You're
I just
trying
speed it
to
to-
easy center.
It's an old, tired old trope.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I think so.
probably thinks he enlisted or something. I don't know. Or she's thinking,
You okay?
Yeah.
No, this is awkward.
now what's interesting is that clearly she's into Leo. Leo's kind of into her, if only on a physical level. I'm kind of the opinion, given a few, like episode 3 or 4 of Kendrick's birthday, Leo's not interested in an emotional relationship right now.
Because
He's a cad, but he gets a character arc. Because we've got to bear in mind his first love is that Asian girl, I think mid-season. And
I can't help but think in this scenario, you know how I
but
compared,
Kai, on the other hand, clearly has a thing for Kendricks.
you know how I compared Kendricks to Jean Grey? Looking at this scene, I can't help but
Yeah,
compare Kai to Scott Summers and Leo
Yeah.
to Logan.
except the difference is in Marvel Comics, let's be honest, Jean was more into Logan emotionally. She just dated Scott because she felt she had an obligation to. She was scared of being in love with Logan. Logan loved her, she loved him. Scott was third wheel. And Scott Summers always worked better with Madeline Pryor. Let's be honest. So before the writers basically decided to destroy the character because they were dumb and uncreative. And editorial was dumb and uncreative in the late 80s. Because they fired Jim Shooter, who was the only good thing keeping... He was the captain of the ship, and without him, there's no captain. They just rammed into an iceberg. But yeah, clearly this is a love triangle. But ultimately, she gets dumped, and the two bros bro it out for the rest of the season. Just saying.
Kai! Kai!
Now, what's interesting is that Rocky and Billy both had tempers as Blue Rangers. TJ, not as much. He tended to keep it under better control. I only say Rocky has a temper because we've seen it when he was Red Ranger. Billy clearly had a temper. So, yeah, but Kai probably has one of the shorter tempers in the beginning out of the Blue Rangers, which is an interesting character trait.
Over even young Justin, who had a temper.
Not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah,
Leo?
I love this scene.
What are you doing here?
You know him?
Yeah. He's my little brother.
He's your brother?
I told you not to come onto our adventure. This isn't some joyride, Leo. Anything could happen. Kanye may never go back to Earth. Ever.
Well, I want to see what's out there as badly as you do.
It's not space he wants to see. He wants to be with Mike. Yeah, I'm just making a quick note. Yeah, clearly we're gonna have to make a video on the separation anxiety. Leo has.
The entire
I'm gonna be
relation-
honest. He's clingy with his brother.
We could, as you just said, we could make an entire video about the brotherly relationship between the two.
Yeah, there's something. It's unhealthy. I'm just saying. Leo is clinging so hard to his brother's skirts that it's unhealthy. And I'm not saying that to emasculate Mike. No, very clearly he's very masculine, but it's just that Leo is wanting to remain a child while Mike is trying to force the two of them to grow up. And just saying to him, we're adults now. Things are different. You have to be a grown man. I have to be a grown man. We have our own paths. And Leo doesn't want to go with this. Like, the problem is, in a way, Mike is trying to push him out of Peter Pan syndrome.
Yes.
And Leo doesn't like it. So, anything else from the chat?
No, the chat's going good.
Any further comments?
No.
Okay. A bunch of buddies and chasing a pretty young girl through the woods. Hashtag Me Too moment.
I was thinking a bunch of flies chasing after a young woman like that. Those five must be from Texas.
I don't get it.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Oh, now okay. That one was
All
fine.
right.
Quack.
From Rob Kiersey. TJ also had a great line in the episode where they were tied up and Androth used his telepathy to get a pair of wire cutters to TJ.
Oh, yeah, the telekinesis.
He told the Quantrons that this is a cutting tool. It cut this.
Okay.
Hello,
Of course.
Canada. Love it.
Don't love it. Buzz off. Oh, looks like both Corbett brothers have something in common. Enemies like flinging them around. Although the thing about the brothers is that they're clearly modeled after Castor and Pollux from Greek myths, as well as after Gawain and Garrett, who were the Arthurianic variants, because Gawain and Garrett often went on adventures. Although Gawain was also able to fly solo because he's the greatest knight of mythology. Well, after King Arthur. Sticks the middle finger at them and flies off. Gotta give these flies credit. They're like, nah, screw you. Fly off. Admittedly, if I could do that, I would do that.
Who are you?
My name is Maya. My home is the planet Marinoi. Or what's left of it. I've never heard of Marinoi. Wait! Well, how do you know it's safe? I have to go back. Scorpius will destroy my world if he gets the Quasar Sabers.
Let's go.
First
What,
weapon.
are you nuts? You have no idea what's in there. Doesn't matter. She needs our help.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You're not going anywhere.
Mike, none of us can go. Who knows what's through that portal? Besides, TerraVenture leaves in a few hours, and it won't wait for anyone.
We'll be back soon. Take my little brother with you.
But I want to get settled.
It's funny because as much as he's trying to force Leo to grow up, he's still acting like a parent and saying, my word is final and whatnot. So is Mike willing to let Leo grow up in some ways? No.
No.
But the difference is Mike realizes there's a problem and he's trying to solve it. Leo is trying to avoid solving the problem by all means.
And now Mikey is in a military position. He has rank, and he essentially has one stowaway, one civilian,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's interesting that Leo immediately volunteered to help, but yeah, this is something a little out of his league right now.
Ready?
Kai doesn't like it because Kai doesn't like it. Because Kai wants to be, he doesn't like the idea of Kendricks and Mike being in danger. Well, he's not.
he's loyal.
Why? He might be the most loyal of all the Blue Rangers out there. Well, after Rocky, maybe. I tend to think of Rocky more as a Red Ranger than a Blue one.
And that's fine.
It's just hard to remember that he's a Blue Ranger. TJ, it's one thing, but I don't know. I just kind of think that Rocky did a lot more as Red Ranger. He was Red Ranger for a lot longer.
He spent essentially 2 seasons as Red Ranger over 1 season as Blue Ranger.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas Kai strikes me more as, yeah.
And yes, Rob Kiersey says that TJ was underrated.
Oh yeah, TJ is one of my two favorite Red Rangers. I love TJ as a character.
Oh yeah.
I actually think that in some ways TJ was ill-served by having the latter half of Turbo. In a way, Turbo was not the best season, and basically being set aside and reduced to a side role in space when he would have been better as the main character. And I just found him a better character than almost any other, except maybe Cassie, I guess. Cassie and TJ are probably the best characters of In Space.
Mhm.
And they only had a minor role, and they guest starred.
Yeah.
And I just think that maybe it would have been good to have TJ have another season, only because when you've basically been robbed of 2 seasons, you deserve at least one. And I'm biased because I really like TJ. To be continued. Will our hero make it through in time? Will Kai actually get to scold him and impress his wannabe girlfriend Kendricks? Will Mike prove himself to be the man? And will Kendricks actually, I don't know, find someone? And will Bulk be reunited with his dearly beloved Skull? Find out next time on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I'm kidding. Well, that's been our usual viewing of Sarah Vincent had presence.
She's Maya, the Yellow Ranger.
I didn't find she had much presence, weirdly. I found that later in the season, she does a bit of a better job. Earlier on, I find she comes off as a bit of a jerk, weirdly, and especially eating that birthday cake. But on the other hand, I guess I don't really notice her. Her and the Green Ranger, I just don't really take notice of.
Mm-hmm.
But if you liked her, then love her and like her. I guess I find that Kendricks has a lot more presence. So the thing is, when you have Maya, she's typically in the same scene as Kai, Leo, or Kendricks, and your eyes automatically go to them. And they're all 3 actors are very charismatic. So
and I also think that the way the 2 ladies started would have an impact, because when we saw Maya for the first time, she was amongst her tribe.
yeah.
So she
Damsel.
didn't stand out as much.
Well, she did because the camera kept focusing on her, I would argue.
yeah.
But so I'm going to disagree with you there, Dan. But that said, you could have removed some of those scenes and just had her suddenly appear, and it wouldn't make a difference in the story. Maybe actually it would have been better just so that you then have a bit more time on the Terra Venture crew. And it's really those characters that you care about. Kai, Mike, Kendricks, and Leo, in my opinion. They're the characters that are the most gripping, most interesting, have the most drama, have the biggest story arcs and character arcs. They have really great character arcs. And I just think that, on the other hand, you do desperately need a Green and Yellow Ranger, obviously. And I don't know if the tribal people, I don't know. I just think that maybe they should have had an extra Terra Venture character or something.
Because Damon had, at the end of the day, didn't have any presence.
And he didn't really have any episodes. So they didn't even try with him.
Yeah, he had 1 early episode, 1 later episode, and that's it.
Yeah, they didn't try because they didn't. I got the impression they didn't care. And the actor did care on some level. And
he would have been able to hold his own,
But yeah, well, sort of. I found he didn't have much presence as an actor. But on the other hand, he wasn't given a chance. I have to concede. Yeah, okay. I think Mike should have been the Green Ranger. And
that probably would have also been more merciful towards Damon.
yeah, then again, no, I do know, like, I'm not trying to be like political or anything, but they typically have at least one Asian and one Black on every Power Ranger team, and then like either typically a Hispanic or someone of possibly native descent, and then a bunch of Caucasians, because America's a pretty white nation. But they typically have these quotas, and Power Rangers can kind of work with that, I guess. So I would say that. But here's the thing: in the olden days, they always made it work. Like, you look at Ethan from Dino Thunder; he works great as a Blue Ranger. You look at Kai; he works great as a Blue Ranger. You look at Aisha as Yellow Ranger, or Zach as Black Ranger. Oh, it works.
Or even the Sky Cowboy.
Oh my gosh, I loved him. Oh my gosh, he was one of the greatest Green Rangers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the presence, the story.
I loved his character. But you see, I'm just saying that they typically went for this kind of approach, and they were usually very good at finding decent actors. I don't know what their auditioning process was, but they were doing something right. The only thing is, like, looking at it from their point of view, that, okay, so let's say you've got Mike, you've got Leo, you've got Kendricks. These are 3 Caucasian characters. Then you've got your then you have essentially Maya. So, and I think the actress might be Hispanic. So now you need a Black character. And like, that's where, okay, what are you going to do? Now, Mike's been killed off. Okay, that's a good early twist, and then you can bring him back. I didn't agree with bringing back Hendrix to an extent, because you already did this plot point. You can't do it again. Otherwise, death is meaningless. And that's my opinion. But when it comes to, I guess when it comes to, I don't know, like, maybe they should have had a Black Ranger. Oh, wait, they got to stick with that stupid Super Sentai footage nonsense. But I don't think Damon was the right character to an extent. Or maybe they should have left. There were ways to cut out the Green Ranger and until you get Mike back, and then maybe you could have a 6th Ranger who was Black. Actually, has there ever been a 6th Ranger who was Black? I don't think so.
I'd have to take a look at the list of Rangers.
I feel like that's something that there should have been.
Yeah, and we're not going to go like the Car Ranger, which is Turbo. Their 6th Ranger. She was fan service.
Oh, okay.
They went a bit too magical girl with her.
Really, in the original Sentai series?
Yeah.
They could have always given Aisha the role.
With a modified power armor set.
Yeah, and obviously...
As much as it'd be...
amusing, yeah. But my point is just... Well, Karen Ashley actually said in hindsight it would have been great for her to come back as a Silver Turbo Ranger.
Yeah.
And we made a video supporting that idea. But on the other hand, yeah, I definitely think TJ was underrated and deserved kind of more. I'm someone who is a little disappointed within space. I'm not going to lie. And I know that that's sacrilegious amongst a lot of Power Ranger fans. I just found that the Andros and Corone plot ended disappointingly because I found it was building up to something. And just, he cries, she's back from the dead. I don't like revivals. I think death should be final. With Mike, I'm willing to grudgingly let it slide because he's a great character. But the thing is, and the season wouldn't feel complete without him. But because he's basically he's got a character similar to Tommy, but he's still somewhat different. And I really like the bond between Leo and Mike. And I find they should have played that up a lot more than what they did. That said, I find that with In Space, the thing is, I find that they should have either redeemed Corone halfway through the season, dedicated half the season to her redemption arc, or weirdly kill off Andros. And where, yeah, I still think Jason should have been in the season, but kill off Andros and TJ steps up and later ends up killing Astronema. And where I just think there would have been more drama and a little bit of darkness to the season, but it also would have been a lot more like there would have been a lot more of everything. And I just think it would have been a better season for it. But by bringing back Jason for the season, you could have had Divatox resume the position of main villainess of the season, and where you have TJ versus Astronema and Jason versus Divatox. But I'm a weirdo. Now, if people disagree, that's fine. By all means. I know a lot of people loved In Space. And you know what? There's a lot to love. I love the Psycho Rangers. But the kid who played Tommy is making convention rounds and doing interviews. He mentioned that he also did the original Beetleborgs pilot. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Oh, is he talking about the kid from that played Tommy from Alien?
Yeah.
Alien Ranger? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually interesting.
Yeah. I've heard some posit the idea he should now play Tommy. Adult Tommy. I don't agree with that because I saw that on Facebook and I was like, no. Jason David Frank played Tommy. I still maintain Power Rangers should kind of stick with, I don't know, other mediums. If he was to voice the character, that'd be one thing, but playing the physical character, no. But him making the convention rounds, by all means, he should. He should. Like, give the guy some credit. And you know what? If he makes money off it, good on him.
I mean, it's not just any kid that could brag, I played Kid Tommy.
Yeah. It's kind of like playing Kid Bruce Wayne or Kid Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm. I wonder which of the two male Beetleborgs he was set to play.
He also did the original Beetleborgs pilot, so he actually did a role. So I wonder which one.
He could play a cousin, Michael Gatto.
Or was that the original? Like like a character who actually pilots a ship for a minute. Sorry, the French in me, so that like English didn't filter into my brain properly. Okay.
Oh, he was going to play the lead. Okay, the Blue Beetleborg.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, I actually have to get going. Got a lot to do today. So, yeah, I know it wasn't the most exciting stream, or this was a weird stream. I've never actually done a watch stream before. I hope we didn't do too badly. So yeah, this is our usual viewing style, I guess, right? Like,
yeah, I suppose if we're going to watch this,
like usually when we go to do the review, we watch, but we do it like, because we do reviews now and we do character videos, we tend to pause a lot, discuss a few points. I make notes. You sometimes look stuff up on your phone, and then we just carry on for like 10 minutes and then pause when we notice something interesting to us, and we go back and forth. That's basically what we do. For a 20-minute episode, I think it sometimes takes us 30 or 40 minutes.
Apparently, he's currently a school principal.
Cool. That's actually kind of cool.
I saw that on the Ranger Wiki. He only played a Power Rangers role,
So he's Principal Ranger.
Okay. He only did Kid Tommy when, for example, Back in Time, Rangers in Reverse.
Yeah, but
He's now a school principal.
that's pretty cool. Well, Danny Slavin, the Leo actor, is now a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's now a scumbag. Okay. Come on. Lawyers. Who trusts them? I'm joking. Every offense intended to our lawyering audience. I'm joking. No offense intended. But in all seriousness, like, I have to admit, like, out of all the season premieres you've seen, would this be the best in your opinion?
'Cause I know that the OG one was not a bad job, but very. I don't think typical is the right word, but they jump right in.
Okay.
Zio,
Well, there's like, you got to bear in mind, like, there's also season 2 premiere with Zed's intro.
Zed's intro was awesome.
Yeah. But that was more about the villain than the heroes. So that's a
Yeah.
bit of an issue. Although they did have dirt bike racing. So that, Dan, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's on par with traveling to the moon and doing training exercises.
Season 3.
Yeah.
Zio.
Zio had a pretty good intro premiere,
Yeah.
actually. It had a pretty good one. Turbo, I'm going to say the movie was essentially the premiere.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's close to taking a cake.
It's like for a long time it was considered a joke.
But then we rewatched it and we went,
And analyzing it a bit more, we realized there's a lot more going on.
primarily for Tommy as a character.
Exactly.
It's one of the first Tommy-centric stories, like not counting the True Heart family stories, that Tommy ever has. Because every other story seems to be more about Kimberly
You have
or Jason.
In Space, which starts off.
Well, they take off into space. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the kidnapping of Zordon.
Yeah, that in premiere was pretty darn cool. I like that one.
This
I don't
one-
really remember every detail, but it was pretty cool.
This one.
Lightspeed Rescue was pretty good, but,
Oh yeah.
but it's slower than the others. I'd argue that season doesn't start till like episode 2 or 3 or something.
This Lost Galaxy, I like the fact that you could feel the Star Wars and Star Trek inspiration.
Yeah.
And that has its own appeal. And
There's also Dino Thunder, but I'd argue Dino Thunder's premiere wasn't great.
I liked how
I like
they
I like the prologue with Tommy,
and Metagog.
but when you're introduced to the kids, I feel a bit irritated. And it's not till like episode 3 or something, like 2 or 3, that I find the season picks up. So is this your favorite premiere? I think mine might be season 2 or the Turbo movie.
Yeah, because you have Zed, that's very strong. You have Lost Galaxy, which is good. Turbo,
Like
There's
they finally
a lot-
I
there's
find
a lot
it
that-
closes the chapter on a lot of the Tommy stuff.
exactly.
Like
There's a lot going on.
like I find on Tommy's end it closes up the Jason stuff and it closes up Kimberly.
Yeah.
For him. And I guess I'm still kind of leaning towards Tommy Kim. So I find it cements that. So it's like it closes a lot of chapters for Tommy. And it almost feels more like a season finale for Tommy. But and I really like it for that. So
Yeah.
I'm caught between those two. So
I'm probably caught between Lost Galaxy and Zio.
okay.
And not Zio, but Zed.
Let's see. I enjoyed it. Would love to see one for episodes such as Tommy returning as the Green Ranger, Green No More, White Light. 1 and 2. I hadn't thought of that. I thought we were gonna do Lost Galaxies, but oh yeah, we could go back. Oh yeah, especially if it's White Light or Green No More. That's a good episode. That's a great episode.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot.
maybe we should do a poll and see if people would want us to restart watching the whole of season 1 and 2, and just have us. We do watch streams of Mighty Morphin 1 and 2, and then maybe at some point the 95 movie, and then maybe like we could jump to Turbo. And I'd skip over Zeo if only for the context that currently I'm working on getting a lot of that content sorted out. And honestly, I just want to jump straight to getting back to watching TJ and his group. I really want to watch them. So it'd be the fastest. I just want to rush over to them. And sorry, I really like his team. And you know what? Yeah, sorry. Turbo gets crap because it was in theaters. It was just a prime time for Fox Kids movie, I think. People wouldn't hate it as much. Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Turbo gets a lot of flack.
But like we didn't like it. I didn't even like it as a kid. I didn't like it. Well, I liked it for a bit, but then I was like, this is garbage. But the reason I didn't like it was because I thought, like, I didn't like the Rocky thing. I loved Rocky as a kid.
That was a very...
And I remember also raging at one point, where's Billy? I was like, where's Billy? Where's Billy? Like, I was excited to see Kim, but I was like, where's Billy? And it's just like, and for Rocky to be removed and injured like
that was a very bad first impression.
Yeah, and apparently it's because Steve Cardenas tried to essentially get them to pay each of the Ranger actors the same pay wage. Like, the entire cast would be paid the same. And they told them instead, you're fired, but you're going to have to do this one last scene, these last 2 scenes, so we could just close out. You willing to do that? I think he should have said no.
It's like Saban with money.
Yeah, I think he should have said no, because this ended up humiliating his character. I didn't like that. I still have the headcanon. He wasn't really injured. He ended up dealing with some other important operation as a Red Ranger.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Like, because screw them. Rocky, Red Ranger forever. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. Jason fans don't burn me at the stake. I'm joking. Actually, it would have been really cool to have the original 9 up against Lord Zed and Rita. That would have been so cool. Anyways, yeah, the Turbo movie, I just think it's more a Tommy vehicle and works great in that function, having rewatched it as an adult. Talk about a well-designed villain. Mesogog was the best designed since Zed, because he was American developed and not from the Sentai. Yeah, actually, I think Mesogog was the best villain since Lord Zed. Now, I know, well, you would disagree, Dan, because you love Drakina. I love Vipra as a villainess.
Mm-hmm.
That and she was so hot. But the reality is Drakina and Vipra were great villainesses. They stand up, I find, the test of time. But Mesogog, I find, was just the best since Lord Zed. And yeah, he might be my number 2 favorite villain of all times in Power Rangers. No, number 3. Ivan Ooze was the best. Goes Ivan, Zed, then Mesogog for me. So, yeah. Maybe we should do a ranking video.
Yeah, and don't forget, Diva Talks also was one of the few villains that wasn't in the Sentai.
Yeah, although she got chucked out as a character.
And it's a pity, because she walked into the power center and blew it up.
The command center.
Exactly.
But I like that she got a lot of villains to team up. And, well, I don't think Zed would join because he's too powerful for them and he'd lord over them. I think that Diva Talks as a villainess should not have just been written out and removed from the franchise. I think she should have totally Like, have her. Come on, she possessed Jason. Like, have that fight scene. I want those two to fight with swords to the death. And it would complete Jason's hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think Divatox should have gotten the kill on Zordon.
Yes.
They should have killed off Zordon at the end of Turbo, and where the Turbo Rangers are pursuing her in vengeance. And Jason comes back or something. Or they have her kill Zordon off during in space. Don't have Andros do it. Have Divatox do it. And then have Jason avenge Zordon. It has to be Jason. Because it was always Jason that Zordon was worried about the temper of. And he was worried about Jason kind of falling to the dark side because of that temper. And where Jason manages to do it, but does it like Kyle Katarn does it. Does it in a way that it is no longer vengeance. It is justice. And yet he still manages to put an end to Divatox's evil forever. But yeah, so how do we get on that topic? So yeah, maybe we will do Tommy returning or as the Green Ranger or Green No More White Light. I kind of like the idea of rewatching White Light and just doing a watch stream of that. Maybe that's what we'll do next. And then maybe after that we'll do at some point Lost Galaxy episode 2. I really like this season. This season is one of the best.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. Anyways, we gotta go, so don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button. And in all seriousness, please do share the stream or whatever channel you love video from the channel you love best. We are trying to do another push, this time to 400 subs. So we're very excited to try to start marching towards there. It's also why we've been deciding to do more non-Mighty Morphin content, which we're going to keep doing Mighty Morphin because it's, I think, my favorite. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
It's up there for you.
It's fun.
But we do, I have wanted to talk about Psycho Rangers for a while. And it's about time we just dive right in.
Indeed.
So, yeah. Like, subscribe. Also, in the community tab, we have a poll running for what kind of video you want us to do next. Well, we already have a video planned for next week. So after that, we're going to do something else. So take care, everyone. And remember, Rangers, may the power